Okay guys, as part of the series for getting started in property, the most critical thing, one of the most critical things, it's not the most critical thing, finding the deal is the most critical thing, understanding what's a deal is a critical thing, managing the refurb is a critical thing, having a professional team in place is a critical thing. Anyway, one of the critical things is that we need to be able to understand our numbers. So how do we understand what a property is worth? We're asking agents, we're going for sold prices and trying to understand condition. So very, very basically, there's a street of 100 houses up and down the street. The highest price sold on that street is for £100,000. That is going to be based on its condition. It's a 3-bed house, it's got a lovely new kitchen, lovely new bathroom, grey everywhere, grey carpets, grey skirtings, grey doors, and whitewashed everywhere else. But it's nice, it's shiny, it's new. It's worth £100,000. This is called our done up value, or DUV. Surveyors might call it a GDV, gross development value. At this end of the market, probably not. So how are we working out what we can offer on this property to calculate what our return will be having delivered the project? Let's say the property is on the market so we go through mortgages. I always go with 75% most of the time, just because it's much more easily available. So the mortgages for this one, 75k. That's, excuse me if this is a bit straightforward, that's 75% of the value. So after this property that we've bought has been fully renovated to the highest standard on that street, it's going to be worth £100,000. Our mortgage will be for 75%, £75,000. Let's say that there's a probate property on the street with brown swirly carpets, single glazing, a hole in the roof, old Artex ceilings, pretty rubbish bathroom, pretty rubbish kitchen, needs everything. It's on the market asking 65. Let's say we can agree it for £60,000. We have a purchase price of £60,000. That's our purchase price. There's going to be stamp duty at 3%, because we're buying in a company these days, so that's £1,800. Our solicitors want to be paid. For ease, let's say they want £1,200. Sols. Refurb required is, let's go with £20,000. So £20,000 is a decent refurb budget. That's probably a kitchen, a bathroom, upgrade of the plumbing system, redecorate floorings, maybe some plastering, a couple of windows perhaps. There's our renovation. Total cost is 80. That's £83,000. Let's for one moment pretend that we've got absolutely no money and we've borrowed this from an angel investor. Let's pretend that we've raised the finance at 10%, and our costs will be £8,300 for the year. So our total costs, including finance, are going to be £91,300. This is what it takes to buy, renovate, and refinance the property, £91,000. The analysts of you will say that I've not paid my broker, I've not paid my solicitors for the refinance. Okay, fine. I've not paid my insurance, I've not paid my water, my utilities during the refurb. Let's pretend that the builder turns up with battery pack equipment that's fully charged, and then he does it during the day, doesn't turn the electricity on. I'm joking, but Obviously, we can spend 3 days getting a pennies and pounds figure, or we can understand the theory. So here's the theory. Done at value 100k. How do we work out our money left in? We have spent this much money. The bank have agreed it's worth £100,000 and are willing to give us a 75% mortgage offer, 75k. That pen's giving up on me. So we've got 75k coming back out of £91,000 spend. We are going to have 16,300 left in the deal. So that's 91.3, take away 75k. We've got £16,000 left in the deal. Okay, that's helpful. We know how much money needs to be committed to this project long term. We still don't know what we're earning. To calculate what we're earning, we need to do a separate calculation. Where would be most helpful to see this? Let's just rub that out. And we'll do it again over here. So 100k DUV, 75%, 75k. We've got 91.3, take away 75 is 16.3. That's not divided by. So now we can get to our cash flow calculation. And again, the analysts of you will want to put in how much the insurance has cost into this cash flow calculation. I'm going to put it into an operating expense of approximately 10%. Let's pretend that this house rents for £600 a month. It could be in South Wales, it could be in the northeast, it could be in the northwest, it could be in Scotland. It could be anywhere, but it is a 2 to 3 bed terraced house in ex-mining community areas, regional towns, maybe small cities in those regions. So we're earning £600 a month. Our managing agent wants to be paid 10%, so we'll say 60. They might include VAT, so the analysts, that will be 12%. Our operating expense, things like paying our insurance, our utilities during the refurb, that's going to come into another 10%. Any reserve contingency, that's set aside. Our mortgage of 75k, it's going to be tough maths. That's around about 3.5%. Let's say 4%, it'll be easier for me. 4% is 3k a year, is £250 per month. So we've got 250 for our mortgage at 4%. It's more likely 3, but there we are. So our total costs are 310, 370. That's with a more than expensive, more than average mortgage, our 10% contingency for operating expenses, our 10% for management. So 370, what are we earning? So we've got 600 less 370, that's £230 per month, times 12. We are earning 2,760 per year. Fantastic. Finally, the final step in this process is earning, dividing 2.76 divided by 16.3. My maths could have been easier. Let's say that's around 23%. Is it? Not quite, it might be 18%. Don't have a calculator on me, so I can't do that calculation. But there is the general theory for calculating our finance costs. So, for example, how might this change? How might you use this formula to calculate other projects that are maybe funded differently. So, for example, you will always have this, 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 and this. This is above 40k. You might find property for 35, 6, 7, 8, 9k, but it's getting rarer. So good luck. Obviously the rate changes beyond certain thresholds, so do check on that. It's not a flat 3%. Your finance costs here. So these are going to change depending on how you fund the deal. You may be able to do away with them entirely and just apply finance costs to this part of the calculation. Things like delayed completions, something to unpack in a separate video entirely. But the things that you're putting in here, if you are arranging a 3% buy-to-let mortgage, let's say you're on it for 12 months, so that it is a full 3%, you will have a 2% advance fee, you will have a valuation fee, perhaps a broker fee, you will have your solicitor's fee up there. You may also have an early redemption fee, ERC, rate, advance fee, valuation. But bottom line is you need to go through each of these. The analysts among you will do it quite easily to calculate exactly what the cost of that finance is. So for me, I always purchase with angels funds or bridging or own funds. Not so much own funds. I started with 10k, so not enough to buy a property. It's usually all angel funds, though angel funds are occasionally stacked with a mortgage. This is a mortgage, so funding this with a mortgage would be a 45k loan, 45k mortgage, 15k deposit. So our 15k is either our own cash at 0% interest rate or angel funds. If it's angel funds, it's going to have an interest rate. That might be 0. Good luck to you. Our 45k with a mortgage is going to have all of these fees. So our 2% advance is going to be £900. Our 2% early exit is going to be £900. Our 3% a year is going to be £1,350. Our valuation might be free. Let's hope it is. Our solicitors might be free. Let's hope they are. Our broker could be anything up to £500. So our total cost of finance for the mortgage will be 5, 14, let's call it 23, that's 36.50. Now, that figure is obviously lower than this figure. This figure is based on full funding for the whole lot. This figure is based on 45k. It's not a huge amount of borrowing. So, okay, fine, it's slightly less than half. We're borrowing slightly more than half. It is cheaper, it's a cheaper rate, but at the other side, we're going to need another broker fee, another solicitor's fee, another valuation fee, another 2%. So that 2% is usually over here only, and would sit there for 5 years. This 2% is a direct cost, so we wouldn't have that. And the 3%, okay, fine, that's there. That's generally the theory. It's well worth doing a few of these practice just to understand it. It's really helpful to be able to put this on the back of a napkin and work out exactly what works and what doesn't. What are the variables that we need absolute certainty over? This figure is pretty important. Very, very important. Don't fluff it up to 110. Don't be over conservative and give yourself 90. If this figure's 90, this deal is terrible. If it's 110, great, okay, we'll take the bonus. We can ask for it, but be realistic in crunching your numbers. Ask for sold proof. Ultimately, if sold proof is there, then you're going to get it. If not, bad luck. You're hoping. What else is critically important? This figure also critically important because that's a variable, that's a market. You're looking at your estate agents for this figure, EA, And over here, you're looking for your letting agents. Ask to see comparables, ask to see things which have gone on the market. Have a good chat with 2, 3, 4 agents in the local area, and you'll be able to get certainty on what those figures are. Other figures that are important, your renovation. You might think that you can do it for cheap, your builder won't. So make sure that you just have a good relationship with your builder. Don't try and cut costs. Don't think, oh, I'll go and do the rip out. If you want to do that, absolutely fine, but it's going to take time. It's going to slow you down. Your finance costs are going to be higher because it's going to take a longer period of time. On the note of finance costs, lower value mortgages, it's more difficult to do. So sub 100k, the lenders that have minimum loan amounts, some of them won't allow you to refinance in under 6 months. It doesn't mean you can't be ready. Have all your documents ready. Speak to your broker at month 3. Have everything lined up. You know, fact find, your ID, your SA 302s if you're self-employed, or self-assessment. When you do your self-assessment in January, HMRC issue a SA 302. That's the form. It's basically declares what you earn. Bank statements, schedule of works, invoices, all that sort of thing. It takes a bit of time to put these things together. It's maybe an evening's work, but so many people just wait and wait and wait. And if you're getting to the end of a 12-month bridge, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So that's one way that we can bring our finance costs down. I've allowed a year for this whole project. Realistically, if you're really working at it, you should be completing this project in under 6 months. It should be rented from month 4. Depending on the lenders, some will let you refinance in under 6 months, some won't. But here's the theory for the calculations. So that's one of the skill sets that we absolutely need to be able to go out and view and offer on properties, because otherwise you're just not going to know. Okay, it's a numbers driven thing. What it's worth, what it's rented for, our cost of finance over here. But that's a fixed variable. Hello, Mr. Broker. What interest rates are available on a 75% 5-year fixed buy-to-let at the moment? That's fixed. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Letting Agent. What are the costs for managing my portfolio? That's fixed. Operating expense. Okay, that's a risk profile. How much do you want to leave as a reserve for eventually when things go wrong? If you're doing a comprehensive refit, new everything, things aren't going to go wrong in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You hope, if they're done well. Quality and service from your builder is critical there. But that's about it for the calculation. We'll do more on case studies and bridges that we've funded. It's ultimately this calculation, the only variable from our side when bridging finance cost. Reno is different every single project, solicitors, every single one. The tax, of course, is subject to the purchase price. Done up value and rentals, it's all different. When you're running HMOs, for example, you might be required to cover council tax, utility bills, so that'll be another cost here in your cash flow calculation. But that's it. If anyone's got any questions around this calculation or the video generally, or questions that they'd like answered, pop them in the comment section below, and we'll do our best to get to them. Thanks so much for tuning in.